Okay, we are with Michael Bianco, and this is fight week. Am I saying that properly?
Yeah. This is fight week, man.
You're days away from the next fight.
Yeah.
So you got to. So for those people who don't know you yet, who are you? What are you about? What are you doing on Saturday? Give us a little bit of background.
All right. Well, for those who don't know me, John Michael Bianco. Some people call me J Money.
I like the J Money.
Yeah.
I like the J Money.
Some people just call me JM for short. I think almost everybody calls me that. But yeah, I've been boxing for 14 years now. I've been an amateur for about a decade, and then I went pro afterwards. But yeah, I'll give you like a little bit of my background. So I started boxing I guess late, I would say, or roughly maybe around like 17, 18 years old. I had my first fight like I think just 6 months in.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my first amateur fight. Wow. So that was fun. Like I remember the very first day I walked in the gym. The coach asked me like, "Hey, like, do you want to do this for fun? Do you want to compete?" And I told him like straight up, I'm like, "Look, I want to compete. I want to take it as far as I can." I never envisioned how far I would take it. Obviously, to where I'm at now, like this is pretty prestige.
Pretty cool.
But yeah,
what did you just point to? Just so everyone listening knows.
So this is the Canadian Championship belt. So it's the National Championship of Canada. They call it the NCC belt. It's abbreviated here. So this is just for my weight class, which is super middleweight.
Okay.
And
which
that's
is what weight?
168 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Canelo weight.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. For those who know.
Get him on your list. Okay. So you tell the coach you want to go pro. 6 months in, you have your first fight even.
Yeah. My first
fight. Where did you go? Was it Mississauga somewhere?
So my first club was, it's in Champions Boxing Club. So that was in Brampton, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so keep going. You have your first fight?
Yeah, I had my first fight. I actually lose my first fight to another experienced fighter. I think he had about 4 or 5 fights, but he was training for quite some time. Basically just outclassed me, but I think from that moment on, I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know that I need to train a little bit harder. When I'm back in the gym, I need to have the better mindset. And, I just kept rolling from fight to fight to fight with just getting better every single time. Right. I had 70 amateur fights. What
was your record amateur?
I was 55, I think 55 and 15 or 56 and 14. I can't remember exactly. I remember how many times I lost. It was about 14 or 15 times. So yeah, about 55, 56 wins. I was on Team Canada as well. In 2019 to 2021,
The pandemic screwed you.
The pandemic, completely screwed us. Screwed my whole team. We were supposed to be going to the Olympic qualifiers, and then obviously everyone got shut down. The whole world got shut down, and we were supposed to go once in 2020 and then once again in 2021. And both times that they were scheduled and rescheduled, they just pretty much.
How do you get onto Team Canada? You're asked to try out or something?
Well, yeah. So they kind of have
record. You're asked to try out.
Yeah. So they kind of have like tournaments, right? So for Ontario, for example, we have provincials. That provincials pretty much from like British Columbia, all the provinces, and some territories if they make it. So you got to win provincials. If not, some provinces like Ontario and Quebec, where they have a mass population, they'll bring 2 fighters, right? Other provinces, they'll just bring 1. Some people just get a walkover, which is if they show up to the tournament, then they just kind of, pretty much get on the team.
Okay, got it.
Because there's just not a lot of guys, right?
Okay.
So you got to win provincials. After that, they'll hold a national tournament anywhere in Canada, usually. We fought out in British Columbia, in Alberta. So you would have to basically not become top 2 on the nationals when you're at nationals, but you have to win the nationals. And basically, once you win the nationals, then you're officially on Team Canada, and then you can compete with Team Canada internationally. You can do all those big tournaments, like the Pan Ams, Commonwealth, and then eventually the Olympics.
So you made it to Team Canada because of what? What was your route?
So my route was the Olympic route. So same route. Yeah. Basically, I just did provincials. I won provincials, and then I went to the nationals, which that year it was being held in Quebec. and I won nationals that year, and that was my first time winning nationals.
Wow.
Yeah, quote unquote, that was the Olympic trial, so that was the last very chance to get on the team to actually go to the qualifiers. And yeah.
But then you didn't get to the Olympics because of everything that was going on in the world. Damn.
Correct. Yeah, I know. It still bugs me.
Okay, so was that the moment that you turned pro?
Well, I stayed on the team for a while.
Okay.
I was, we were a little optimistic. No one knew how long this pandemic was going to happen or how long it was going to go for. So I stayed on the team for, after that, about another year and a half. And then once I found out that, we couldn't get the go-ahead for the Olympics, I decided to, turn pro after that.
And is that the moment you start, when do you start really getting serious with pro about your team that you have? Like you had a boxing coach, I guess, at this time. Like, I don't know anything about this sport other than what you've told me before when you were here. So then do you start, you yourself just start getting a strength and conditioning guy like Dan? Like, how does that come to be? It's all on you?
Yeah, well, I kind of had Dan as a strength coach actually for my preparation for the Olympics. But basically, like some people just have a boxing coach, right? Okay. Maybe they'll take their amateur coach and use them as a pro boxing coach. Other fighters, they might leave the country. Maybe go down to the States.
Okay,
find another trainer there. But you kind of would want to pick and choose who you want. And
then do you have a home base now that you're out of, or do you go to different boxing gyms? How does it work?
No, I have a home base that I'm out of. Actually, in Oakville. It's just down the street from Radix and Rockstar. It's called Oakville Boxing Academy.
Oh,
yeah. So it's literally walking distance from Radix.
Okay, and then so now, so you go pro. Now, how does it go with your, pro debut? And you're 8-1 now.
Yeah.
How does that come to be? You just start getting assigned fights. You have a manager that picks the fights. How does this work?
Yeah. So I had I had an interest in promoters that I'll call Three Lions. But prior to that, I was talking with a boxing manager named Gary Friedman. So he's my manager.
Okay.
And basically that obviously he'll manage fights for me. He'll make sure, I get the right purse, get the right percentages. Obviously on top of that, he'll look at fighters as well as a promotion. But I signed a contract with him, and then we signed a contract with the promoters.
Okay. Got it. That's how it works.
Some people can wing it. Right. Yeah. Some people can be like, hey, you know what? I just want to go pro. Maybe I'll go to Mexico and, fight somebody off the street,
All of this seems wild. I can't believe this is you're 8-1 now pro. You have this belt here, and it started from you walking into a gym and just the guy there says, do you want to take this seriously or not?
Yeah.
You come from a boxing family?
I do actually, yeah.
So what's your family background?
So 3 of my uncles have boxed.
Okay.
They were actually a lot younger than my mom, closer to my age. So they boxed growing up. Obviously, I idolized them growing up. So, it's kind of almost like a bigger brother, bigger cousin situation. And I've played sports all my life, every single sport you can think of, except for ice hockey. But I've played every single sport, and it felt like there was something missing, and I just wanted to
punch someone in the face.
I just wanted to punch someone in the face, really.
Dude, with the length of those arms that you have, I feel like you were designed to punch people in the face. Okay, got it. So boxing just felt right.
Yeah, it just felt right. It just kind of fell right into my lap, and all I had to do was just put on the gloves and walk into a gym, right? And
so now how are you 8-1 record? I mean, you must be feeling pretty good. I don't know everything about boxing, but the 8-1 record, is this something that you're kind of, was this a goal to get to this point? Now you're coming on to your 10th fight. How do you view this? What's your mindset right now?
Well, I try to keep it very simple. I just try to, just try to take it one fight at a time, almost. Obviously, I want long-term goals. I think that's something that we'll be setting for ourselves after this fight.
Okay. Why after this fight?
Again, I kind of want to focus on one fight at a time. Well, at least when I'm in camp, I don't want to think, after I beat this guy.
You don't want to look past anyone.
Yeah, exactly. But normally, I would have I would write down, I would have, a 5-year plan. Or a 6-year plan or a 10-year plan, right? Of what I want to do in the sport. So I guess the Canadian title was on my horizon when I did turn pro. But, when you start winning a couple fights and, you're starting to go unbeaten for a long time, then you kind of sit down with your team. Okay, what's next? What's the best possibility, thing for me to do? Maybe in the new year, you can kind of set up, your goals for the remainder of the year. So right now on Saturday, I'm going to be defending this belt. Okay. But going forward, I want to focus on a North American title. Yeah.
And that just means different fights. Like you pick a North American title, so then you have to pick like, okay, this is the stream of fights I want to get to that title. And
exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So there's kind of a ranking system too. So you kind of have to build your ranking as well.
Okay.
So eventually, I'm going to have to be starting to fight, ranked guys, right? So harder fights, maybe longer training camps, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's all has to be planned, right?
What and I'm curious then, what's your training camp like? What does this training camp look like for you now? Like, what is it you're in fight week? Yeah. I guess what's the lead up to a fight look like? What is that kind of grind all about? Is there like how many weeks out do you start? How does that work?
So normally I would I'll do like an 8-week camp. So okay, I'm a 12-month year fighter, but I'm a 12-month out of the year, fighter, right? I'm always in the gym. I'm sure you see me in the mornings or nights or whatever the case is. I'm always in shape. Normally, if we know if a fight's coming up, because we're part of a promotion, we can kind of plan our schedule ahead of time.
Okay.
So normally I would have an 8-week camp, or normally I would have maybe a 6-week camp, depending. I like to keep it at 8 just because it gives you that time to kind of prep. You might have opponents change, throughout your camp as well, because that does happen. But normally we get into camp. You want to be in shape when you're in camp. You don't want to be, out of shape and trying to get in shape, because then you're just playing catch up. So, I would do a lot of conditioning at first. I'll see Dan at Radix. We'll do a lot of strength and conditioning. We'll do some boxing as well. As the weeks, follow through and follow up, then we'll kind of switch it over from all the conditioning more over to boxing.
Okay.
The last month of your camp should consist of, sparring 3 times a week if you need to. Twice is okay too. You don't want to take too much damage in camp as well, so you have to be very mindful. You need your recovery days. You need your rest days. Obviously, you want to get your massages in, hot sauna, cold tub, all that kind of stuff. You got to be eating right. Got to make sure your weight is on point.
And then you've been fighting. So you've been doing this. It's 12 months a year for you, and you've been fighting 2 or 3 fights a year.
Correct. Actually, my first year,
you can handle it. Like your mind, you don't just like I just imagine, because you're always in shape. I've seen you at the gym. You're in shape. Like you don't just say fuck it. Like I'm just gonna eat this shit food or whatever. Like you can do this.
Oh no, don't get me wrong.
The mental grind of this seems crazy to me.
It is. I'll be honest. I really watch my weight, but I do munch out, man. Like
okay.
Yeah. Like I mean, I'm not gonna be eating chicken or broccoli 12 months straight. Like that's nonsense, right? But I would say the last month of my camp is when I really start to narrow down on my diet. I kind of try to watch my weight prior and throughout the year. As a fighter, you never want to blow up. Mm-hmm. And you never want to blow up, because it just makes, as you get older, it just makes it so much harder to, take off all that weight, right?
And then when you're in camp, how you see online, you'll see just training partners who kind of like take advantage of people during fights and stuff. Are you able to work with your coach to make sure you're getting sparring partners that are just normal and not trying to like prove something against you?
Yeah.
What's the politics in that? Is that a decent thing to get managed, or is it difficult? You just don't know who you have in the ring against you sometimes. So
that's really important that you, that's a good point that you brought up. You need a really good team around you. When you, either if you're getting beat up in camp, or, if you have other training partners that you just want to, kind of try to put down, that's not good, because a lot of guys lose their careers in the gym like that, right? So you need, the particular sparring for, your particular opponent coming up. Sometimes it's a little hard to find that, and sometimes you just need rounds, right? But I'm rarely ever like trying to, kill my sparring partner, in training, because it hurts him, and then it hurts me. If he doesn't want to come back the next day, right? And I need somebody to train with. And
I'm just thinking about a sparring partner also that you don't know their motives. Who wants to prove something to your coach in front of that coach.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. Guys just they'll throw on the gloves, put on the headgear, and then they'll just come running right at you, you know?
Okay.
You know, but normally we'll try to we'll pick up that vibe the first round or two, right? And we'll know what we're dealing with.
Shit. So you're managing so much. You're managing your diet. You're managing your recovery. You're managing sparring partners. You could be managing a change of opponent. Like mentally, this whole thing is tough on you. You're working through this whole thing as well.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So
working full time.
I feel like I mean the commitment that you have to this. Like to me, it's a 10 out of 10 to maintain it. I just remember seeing you I'll never forget the first time seeing you in the gym and just seeing how fit you were. And I was trying to make a joke. And I feel like you didn't know me. So for anyone listening, we go to the same gym. Obviously, I'm nowhere close to as fit as John Michael is. I'm just trying I'm just trying to schlep along over here. And I joked with him because I'm like, hey, if you need a training partner and you need someone to keep you kind of straight, like I'll train right next to you. And you just looked at me like you were going to throw a punch over at me, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, I'm just totally joking. That's when I knew you were designed for boxing. You gave me the look that my brother gives me sometimes, like he's just going to throw a punch. So as you're going through this, what do you do you consciously choose a certain type of thought process or mindset, like to survive the ups and downs of this kind of journey? How much work are you putting into your mindset through this? Is it just something that comes natural to you and you don't have to? Or are there some days that you're picking yourself up the ground and telling yourself something to keep yourself going?
Yeah, with mindset, man, mindset's really tricky. You know, I feel like some days I'm 110%.
Yeah.
And some days, you know, you
feel like garbage.
Right? Yeah. And I think that just goes with everyone,
Totally.
everything you're doing. You might wake up on the wrong side of the bed, but that's because maybe something was bugging you the night before. Maybe it is your sleep. I think when it comes to your mind, that's one thing you can control, but you can't control the outcome of, you know, other things, right? You can't control the outcome. If you're going to make a left leaving this building, you know, how do you not know that someone's just going to come and crashing into you? That's not your fault, but you can't control your mind and you can control your breathing. So I try to meditate as much as I can as well.
What does that mean for you, in the morning or before camp or in the evenings? What do you mean when you say that?
I would like to try to get it in the evening, but whenever I have the downtime, you know, just take 5 minutes, you know, kind of just, you know, focused on very positive thoughts, happy thoughts, somewhere you want to be, for example, like maybe like on a beach. That I always, you know, envision that every time I meditate, you know, I just want to be in a good space. So yeah, like that kind of helps you control your mindset, right? Mm-hmm. There's not like, again, that's one thing you can always control 100% of the time, but you can't ever control outcomes of certain things, but you can, control your attitude, right?
Hey, it's Anthony Molinaro from the Your Life, Your Term show, and I've got some exciting news. On Saturday, April 12th, we're hosting our biggest and most in-depth Your Life, Your Terms event yet in Mississauga, Ontario, and space is filling up fast. This is your chance to join us for a transformational day packed with powerful insights, strategies, and connections to help you live life on your terms. We'll be covering the biggest real estate opportunities, what's happening with the Canadian and global economy, how to protect and grow your wealth with Bitcoin and hard assets, and how to use marketing strategies and disruptive technologies to build freedom and income for yourself. But here's the deal. Tickets are going up the closer we get to the event, and with the early flood of registrations, we'll likely be hitting capacity. If you want to guarantee your seat and save some money, register now before it's too late. And remember, if you're a Rockstar Inner Circle member, your tickets are completely free for yourself and your guests. Head over to yourlifeyourtermsevent.com and secure your spot today. You don't want to miss this one. That's yourlifeyourtermsevent.com.
Mm-hmm. Why do you know that? Like you're a young guy. Mm-hmm. Why do you know you can control your attitude? Where's this coming from? Is this something that your family has taught you? Like, why do you know this? Your coaches? A lot of people struggle with controlling their attitude towards life and picking themselves up off a bad day. You seem to be consciously at least aware of that. Why is that?
I think it's just maybe just some of the things I've been through. I think sports has taught me a lot. I've been in sports all my life. And I think boxing has taught me a lot as well. You know, sometimes you can't control the outcome of the fight or the judges, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you can get robbed, but you can be like, you know what, I can, just deal with it. Or, I can just kind of, get it, maybe they want a reaction out of me. So I'll go all crazy and I'll go all out but sometimes like, honestly, you just get to a point where you're just tired and you're like, you know what, like this doesn't bug me anymore. I don't know. I just feel like maybe just some of the stuff I've really been through, and just you able to control in, you know, my mind, you know, which is the most important tool, I think, in life. And I think in boxing, like 100%.
Yeah. Like I feel like right through a whole, just one fight could be the ups and downs of a roller coaster of like a normal person's year, like just getting punched in the face. I'm just thinking you probably have a plan. You come out in round one. I don't know if this has happened to you or not, and you get punched in the face unexpectedly. I mean, it's the old Tyson quote that everybody has a plan to get punched in the face. Like, I just feel like that wakes you up pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a mindset to get through that, I could just imagine the fight. Like you get punched in the face unexpectedly. The round's over, you're in the corner, people are talking to you, you're trying to figure out what's going on. Like the amount of information that you're trying to mentally process, never mind physically handle, but mentally process in that moment. Like, holy shit. Cause I've been to one of your fights before and like, there just seems like a lot going on, you know, just from the dress that you're wearing coming out, like you're looking like $1 million when you're coming out, everyone's cheering for you. You're trying to stay focused. You got the like I saw the coaches with you, they're talking to you. Like, I just feel like it's just a blur, the whole thing. So you just need to be mentally on point.
It is a blur. It is.
It's just information overload. Like, do you even hear the crowd around you at that point or no?
Yeah, but you know, I choose not to pay attention to it, right? You know, sometimes like, well, almost all the time that I'm fighting, I'm always like very dialed in, right? So, you know, you'll pick up on some things, but you kind of mute it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Has there? Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, go ahead.
Has there been a defining fight like for you? We talked about, I mentioned that I was going to ask you that question. Has there been a fight that like amateur, early, during pro, that really for you stood out as like something, I don't know, that taught you a lesson or that you were proud of, or I don't know, kind of steered your career so far?
Yeah, like I had a few fights in the amateurs where I was just like, man, like I'm just so like, you know, happy of, you know, what I've accomplished. Not so much the fight, but so much just more of the training camp and what was going on, you know, in training and sparring and all that, to get me to that point. There was definitely a few times in the amateurs for sure. And I'd say in the pros that there was a few times where it was defining. I think this fight here was probably my biggest fight.
Who did you fight for the belt?
So I fought a guy named Sam Moses. We fought twice actually in the amateurs.
No way.
Yeah. So
and what was the record in the amateurs?
2-0 for me.
Okay.
So yeah, I was 2
it.
wins on him. You know, I knew he was game. I knew he was coming for me, man, like for this belt. And I just, again, put my mindset to it. I'm like, this guy is not beating me. This belt is stayed here, and it's not going. I'm not playing with him. It's not going anywhere.
Where is he from?
He's from British Columbia.
Okay, got it. Yeah, shit, man. I don't know how you handle all that. I'm just thinking about like for me to go through that, like it's tough enough for me to get to the gym on a regular basis. Never mind fighting pro. And then when you went from amateur to pro, what is that transition like? Is there something different that's happening because you're managing? I guess dealing with this management of promotion companies or whatever. I just feel like there's more politics. I guess in amateur there's politics too on who's going to fight and stuff. But how does that transition go?
I mean, for me, it went pretty smooth, I would say, for my debut. The only I find big difference, not in the ring, but outside the ring, is that, you know, if you like boxing and you want to have fun with it, stay an amateur. Being a professional, it's all about, you know, it's a business, right? At the end of the day, you're marketing yourself, you know, like you are your logo, you are like this is you. Like it's not just sure I'm John Michael, but this is like, you know, John Michael Bianco boxing, right? JM boxing. You're more of a business, you know, like you're, I don't want to put it like this, but it's kind of like
people need to be interested in you. You need to get people's attention like that. Yeah. Like you can be really good, but if you're not getting anyone's attention, the promoters want people that are going to put butts in seats. They're trying to make money. Yeah. There's a lot to this. It's not just like how good you are. Let's face it, the biggest boxers in the world have been like promoters. So like Muhammad Ali, promoter, Tyson, promoter. They all have these personalities, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them have been good, been quiet. I don't know. Frazier was quiet. I don't know that part of boxing history. yeah, that's going to be part of the game.
Yeah, like more than a fighter, you have to be an entertainer, you know, just like a musician, you know, you go into a concert, you know, you want to be entertained, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with boxing. You want to be entertained. You know, I have, out of the 8 wins I have 4 knockouts, but I always bring a really, you know, fun fight. And I, you know, between my outfits and, you know, I try to have a bit of personality. You can't be boring.
When you came out, you just had, I don't know if it was like a lot of fur and feathers, and I just feel like there was a lot.
Yeah.
I can't remember it all. I just remember going, holy shit, like who put together this outfit for you? Because that thing was the real deal.
Yeah.
And then after the fight, the one I went to see that you won, I couldn't believe just how relaxed and chill you were. Like, I guess you had not taken any damage because it didn't seem like you were, but your earrings were back on, and like you just seemed like you had jewelry on, and you had your fit going on. Like, I just felt like, man, this guy's got it together. Like, and there was obviously thought into everything that you were doing, because to have that outfit ready for you after the fight and come out and talk to us all, I don't know, it just seemed like pretty impressive to me. There's more going on than just the training. Obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like planning things, man. Like, I like, you know, just setting a plan and just going with it, you know, and then when you get to there, it feels so much more fulfilling, right?
How do you
Even
feel?
It's the smallest thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure, because the smallest thing to me could be some of the cool pictures that we see of you after the fight. Like, I don't know who's taking those pictures, if that's just your friends capturing awesome shots of you. But when you see a cool shot of you like swinging with a punch and someone captures that, like, you must also just feel like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah, like, oh, I look better than I thought it would.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen some pictures of you. I'm like, damn, that looks really good.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to the photographers for sure. They get some pretty cool clips.
They get cool shots of you, man. So I guess that's the promoter who has photographers coming.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the pro leap, a pretty smooth transition. You already had a professional mindset, it seems like, in amateur to go that far, and you get over the Canadian scene. Is it like, I guess it's compared to the North American one, it's smaller. That's why you want to go and look at some North American titles now, get more attention.
Yeah.
That's the goal behind that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was actually the goal after I won this, but
getting the Canadian one must give you some credibility to go to those other promotions, right?
For sure. Yeah. I definitely
Do you have to give this one up to go that way, or no? You can keep it.
I can hang on to it for my whole career as long as nobody challenges me. But I feel like after a few more fights, then, you know, for me, it's no point of me challenging it, right?
And someone to challenge you just says, hey, I want to challenge you for this belt. That's how that works.
But they would have to go through my promotion first, or my manager.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a process, but someone could say, okay, shit. So there's always people.
Yeah.
You never
There's
know.
always somebody coming up.
Holy. Okay. So outside the ring, what would surprise someone? What's something people would be surprised about to hear about a pro boxer?
Interesting. I mean,
I know what it is for me.
Yeah.
But you tell me what it is. You tell me what it is.
Honestly, I think, well, maybe not as just, I mean, for me personally, I'm actually like a pretty nice, chill guy. I like working with tools. Obviously I do HVAC. So I don't know, just like hanging out and kicking it. Like, you know, I like go checking all different coffee shops in Niagara where I live. So just.
Oh, you live in Niagara? I don't know why. I thought you lived around here somewhere.
I used to. Okay. We moved out there. We bought some property. So we're out there traveling back and forth every day. I mean, you know, most fighters are pretty, you know, relaxed. Yeah. You know, you would think that they're meatheads and they're, you know, ready to tear your head off and you know, rip you limb from limb. But a lot of guys are, you know, we know how to kind of control our emotions, right? For most fighters anyway. Some guys are lunatics, unfortunately. But
I'm just thinking somebody in a bar getting drunk, picking a fight with you. They don't know you know how to throw a punch. Jeez,
I've had that happen.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a dangerous moment for you, not for them, because you could pretty easily do some damage to someone that they don't see coming. I had a friend who was the judo champion of Canada for our age group growing up, and it was always that case. I was like, oh shit, like we're out at a bar somewhere and someone picks a fight. I'm like, you don't even know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know the guy you're messing with. Please just like stand down. And of course, things sometimes would get out of control, and you're just hoping that like nobody gets seriously hurt, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's no joke, man, especially in the street. Like I really, you know, I don't really go out like that, you know, like anymore, like how I used to. But still, man, you could just be at the wrong place, wrong time.
Oh my God.
It could be like your first night out with your wife in like, you know, half a year or something, right? Yeah. You know, hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I love you, Jeff. But anything can happen at any given time, right?
And that's what the thing I was going to say about you is that HVAC, and that I always laugh because I see that you're out training, but there's like the HVAC van. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not. Sometimes parked outside, and I'm like, shit. People don't know. Like this guy coming to fix their furnace is like a pro boxer. You know what I mean? He's in their house, and I don't know everything that you're doing. Do you do residential or is it commercial?
Yeah. Oh yeah, residential. Yeah,
it's residential.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy in their house is a professional boxer. You don't know who you have walking through your house here. He has a belt. He's a Canadian belt and he's walking through your house. So like, to me, that is the biggest thing. Every time I see it, I'm like, who are you off to fixing their furnace next? And if they only knew who was in here. So anyway,
if they only knew.
I feel like it's true.
Just kidding.
If they only knew the pictures of you walking into the ring with those with the outfit that you have on. For you, who's your inspiration right now? Is there somebody that like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be boxing, just in life. Is there someone or something that is an inspiration to you? Family? Who is it?
I would say growing up, I definitely had a lot of inspiration. If I'm being completely honest right now, I don't really have, I guess, somebody I'm
I was going to say, because right now, like you're a pro, you're 8-1. Yeah. It's tougher and tougher to get inspired by someone. Like,
Like, I would say, I mean, if at least on a boxing, sense.
Could it be Rocky? Could it be Rocky?
Not really. It's a little too fictional for me. But I definitely look up to other fighters that, I aspire to be, like guys like Andre Ward and, stuff like that. But outside of boxing, I just look up to other, like my uncle and, like people like that. Just regular people, right? Just everyday people.
Yeah, doing their best.
Yeah. Other like it's friends of friends, or sometimes I look up to my friends of what they're doing, and how I aspire to be them in certain ways, right?
Sure. Yeah. You are a good guy, John Michael. In the boxing industry right now, is there someone that's at the highest level that has really just impressed you on their path on how they got there? Like, is there someone that you're like, that's a pretty cool story? Like, I think Canelo has a pretty good story.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Yeah, I think Terrence Crawford has a pretty good story. I think another fighter, Caleb Plant, has another pretty cool story as well. And they all come from not broken homes, but like hard times, and they're always fighting something, right? And we're fighters. That's what we do. We fight. So I think that really shows your personality a lot. Of what happens, in the ring and outside, right? And how you deal with, losses and how you deal with wins.
I know you take this one fight at a time, so maybe this is not a fair question. Like, how far are you going to, how far out can you see? Like, can you see out 10 years, or do you just forbid yourself from looking at it? Are you really just, you talked about 5-year goals. I guess you're looking at it a little bit. Like, it seems like a tough sport to manage to me, because it's obviously difficult it's tough on your body.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's tough. Can you look out 10 years, or is that just too difficult?
No, absolutely. I think you should have long-term goals for sure. I mean, like usually when I'm in camp, I only think about the next fight when I have a fight scheduled. Then I kind of, after a fight's done, then I kind of go back and kind of be like, okay, like now that I'm here now which path am I taking?
So you're in fight week, not an appropriate time to talk.
Yeah. I've seen just a lot of fighters just kind of overlook their opponent way too much. After this fight, I'm going to be doing this and that, and
which is mentally, I guess, difficult to stay focused sometimes. I guess
you always want to think about the next thing. Like you always want to think about what's next. At least for me, right? And I always control that to the best of my ability and just focus on what's now, because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder what's going to define a meaningful and successful career for you. Because I already feel like you've already done it to me. Like I'm like, holy shit. Okay. Like, this is amazing what you've accomplished. But I guess it's depending on your goals. It just seems like a tricky thing. Promotions, there's the politics in it. It's going to be interesting to see 10 years from now what you have decided to do and not do. Like, there's not a lot of people that are doing what you do. There's not a lot of people to like emulate or kind of copy. And I don't mean in a bad way copy, but like in a good way, to see their journey. You know, like you're kind of blazing a trail yourself here.
Exactly.
Not like your buddies are doing this. There's not like if someone goes into a career in finance, you have like 10 guys usually or girls. You're like, okay, they're doing this. They got this promotion. Or they went to this company. Yeah. You go into software, there's this. You go into real estate, there's this. You go into boxing. Like I don't really know many people with an 8-1 pro record who have a belt and that you can kind of use as a bit of a guide. You're kind of a little bit on your own.
Yeah.
It's the team around you is huge.
Yeah, it's hard to relate. And you know, there's a quote. You know, it's lonely at the top. It's true. It's, you know, after you get to a certain point, you just, you know, who are you looking up to, right?
So the one similarity in that you should be aware of is entrepreneurship's like that. Like when you start your own business, it's kind of like that a little bit. It's that not many people can relate to you because when you're running your own business, there's not everybody who has the same problems as you. You're trying to find people, hire people leave on you, retraining people, looking at the market, trying to study the economy. You're kind of by yourself. Your family doesn't know what you're going through. So I guess you have a similar way in just a totally different field.
Yeah, it's kind of a gamble, right? I mean,
it's a cool gamble.
Yeah, it's a cool gamble.
I don't think you're going to, like, I don't think the 90-year-old John Michael is going to look back and regret what you're doing. I feel like you're giving it your all and you're going to really like appreciate that you've done all of this.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. Yeah. I just don't want to, again, I don't like what you just said. I don't want to have any regrets. Yeah. You know? So if I got to pick up and, you know, move somewhere else, if I need to, I'll do it. Yeah. You know?
Do you think how do you know if the people around you are being honest? That's a difficult thing, I feel like, in your spot because I'm just thinking, I'm sure you have great people. I mean, I know Dan at Radek.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like you're in such the captaincy because all the people around you want to do well, but the better you do, it also shows on them. Yeah. So they could push you with their own incentives in mind sometimes. And maybe it's not even being malicious, just like their incentive is to push you this way. Shit, man, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You really have to quarterback this thing yourself.
Yeah, really. I think that, you know, if you have the right team, you know, they have the right plan, then you can get to where you're getting. But if you're not getting, I mean, if you feel like you're kind of not getting here and then you're hearing a lot of other people outside of your circle say a lot of things about your circle, then maybe it's time to make some change, you know?
Yeah, got it. Okay, back to the fights for a second. Is there an adrenaline moment? Like if you had a moment in, you know, or the wildest moment in one of your fights, does something stand out?
Yeah, actually, so I'll go back to this fight. I ended up knocking down my opponent in the third round. Okay. It was a double left hook, body, and then head, and then he just went on his back, but went down on his butt. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, like, he's down. I think he's gonna get up.
That's what's going through. This is it. I won. You're like, he might get up.
Yeah. So I was trying to keep my cool as much as I could, and then he got up. I'm like, okay, he just got up. You know, he's on shaky legs. I got these small gloves on. Let me see if I can try to put him out. So then I throw like a barrage of punches. I end up there's a clip, maybe we can look at it later, but he ends up going through the ropes onto the judges table. I'm like, he's done, ref's gonna call it. And then he ended up, I guess he just like slipped like through the rope somehow, right?
So he wasn't done.
No, he wasn't done. So then when he ended up getting back in, and then I'm like, for some reason I thought the ref called it off, but he called it no slip. He's like, you know, no slip, not like, fight's done. Shit. So I'm like, okay, he's up. All right, so let's go. But I knew at that moment that like I had dumped everything into that. And I'm like, I had such a huge adrenaline dump.
Your arms heavy now?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. My chest is heavy, my arms, legs. And I think we ended up finishing the round. There was about 30 seconds left. And then we just started, you know, throwing at each other, and he actually caught me. We caught me in an exchange, and I remember like it was at the bell, and he hit me, and I kind of fell onto the ropes, and I'm like, oh shit, like.
And the buzzer,
the buzzer, that was the end of the round. I went to the corner, and I'm like, oh man, like I got clipped hard.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What is it between rounds? A minute? No.
It's a minute. A minute? Yeah. So it took me about a round or two to kind of get my mojo back.
So in that next round, you're just defensive then at this time? Because when you get your mojo back, what does that mean? Like, can you see everything clearly in that next round, or is it a little fuzzy?
Well, that wasn't too fuzzy. I think going back to the corner was like a little fuzzy. I was just kind of just trying to catch my breath and like, okay, like rolling round 3, going to round 4. We still got more than half of the fight left. So, just chill. We got time. Let's figure out another game plan for the next round and then go from there. And we did. And then we ended up knocking them out in round 7.
Holy shit. So the coaches at that time, can you hear your coaches speaking to you?
Yeah. But it's so loud. Like, you really have to be dialed in. But that
does anything go into slow motion for you? Like, in some moments, like I've been in a car accident, and during that car accident, it's like slow, like it's like my brain's processing faster than the physical reality is happening. So I can process everything at a different speed. Does that happen to you at all in boxing?
Yeah, for sure. I've been hit like pretty hard, very few times, and clean. And it's kind of when you're kind of leave your feet a little bit, it's like, it feels like it's in slow motion. Same thing happened. I got in a car accident as well, and everything is just like,
so you know what I'm talking about.
It's like very slow mo. It's weird. It's such a
I got blacked out. I got rear-ended with a truck going 70 kilometers an hour. It was a coffee truck. One of those construction coffee trucks?
Yeah.
That was all the sandwiches. It had dual wheels on the back. The guy fell asleep at the wheel. I was behind an 18-wheeler that said flammable on it.
Yeah.
And I just look into my rearview mirror, and I just see a Ford symbol. That's how close he was to me.
Oh my God.
Smashes me. I swipe the 18-wheeler, cuts open the car. I go over 2 lanes. I hit that car so hard that it rear-ended a car, and I blacked out and had an out-of-body experience. I didn't tell anybody about this for years, but I heard myself screaming out of body. Like my perception was like up here to the right, and I heard my body screaming, but I heard it from like outside of my body.
That's crazy.
If that makes sense.
Oh my God.
And then someone knocked on my window. So I guess by the time they got out of their car, got to my car and knocked on the window, I assume it's half a minute or maybe a full minute. I don't know. So I was knocked out for a little bit, and then it just snapped back. And my perception was like my eyes were open. It was almost like I had restarted. It was totally crazy.
That's crazy.
It was totally
It's like you time travel a little bit.
It was like, and it kind of gives you this idea of like, what the hell is reality? What is consciousness? Am my physical body really me, or like what was that above me? And how am I able to process all this stuff? Anyway, I'm way off.
The Matrix, man.
It felt like that a little bit, like especially when they knocked and you wake back up, you're like, what the hell was that?
That's weird. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm way off.
Don't worry.
But so you won that fight. Okay, so that's and you knocked the guy out. Yeah, cool, man. That must have been a crazy moment for you.
Yeah, it was a crazy night for sure.
yeah, I'm sure. Okay, nutrition. So with Dan's, you now know what you're dialed in to eat? Like, what does your nutrition look like during the fight week right now? Like, are you trying to cut to a certain way? Like, what is it this week?
So I actually have a nutritionist, LTC Nutrition. He's out of Quebec. And he has me on like a program right now. So right now I'm water loading. I actually didn't try to.
What does water loading mean?
So water loading basically means is that for a certain amount of days, you have to drink a certain amount of water. So right now, my 10 days out from the weigh-in.
Okay.
I believe for me was last week, Wednesday. So it was 8 liters of water per day. I'm still drinking that right now.
Okay.
So it'll be all that up to so you have the day before the weigh-ins obviously. So not the day before the weigh-ins, but the day before that would be your last day drinking that amount of water, right? And then the day before the weigh-ins, you'd be drinking like a bottle, for example, right? So you'll be drinking all this water, drinking all your electrolytes, like your LMNTs or liquid IVs, and then you would stop it completely, usually like the day before. Which that will because your body's so used to taking in so much water for all those days, and then everything just gets flushed out. Right. So,
that also helps you make weight then because you stop it, but your body's still flushing.
Yeah. So normally what you can do as well, if you find that you're not getting all this water out of your system, then you can probably hop in the sauna, maybe do a little workout with the sauna suit on. And like even right now, if I go to the gym, I'm going to be drenched in sweat just because of all the water I'm just intaking, right? So all that water, it's kind of keeping you full in a way, and then you just dump it all out, and then makes the weight cut so easy.
Oh, really?
Like a lot of guys just try to, not water load. Some people don't even drink. We're supposed to be drinking like 3-4 liters of water per day, depending on your size.
That's tough. Okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But, when you're drinking so much water, and then you're just emptying all out, it takes you'll shed a lot of weight.
How much weight will you shed? Talk about that.
it really depends how much you need to lose, but you can probably lose like 10 pounds in like a day if you need to. I never go to that extent. I always make sure I'm like 3, 4, 5 pounds. And then can you get it all
back before the fight?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you would weigh in the morning before you would fight, right?
Okay.
So you have
so you have more than 24 hours. Okay, 36 hours. Okay, and then what's your general, like someone like you who's staying fit all year? I guess you're young. But what do you eat? Like, what are your foods?
I eat a lot of chicken, so chicken breast, broccoli.
Are you trying to hit a certain amount of calories or no? You're just trying to eat like a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of fats? No?
So when I'm like generalization, like I'm just in general, I would normally just I would eat those foods, but I wouldn't stick to certain portions. Like if in camp I'm eating 2 chicken breasts, right, per meal, then I'll just have like 3 or 4. Right. Okay. I try to just, be modest and kind of eat what I need to eat. Try to stay as healthy as I can. Mind you, I do get the odd burger. Sure. Every weekend and whatnot, or every other weekend. But usually a lot of chicken breasts, rice cakes for snacks, Greek yogurt.
Rice cakes?
Oh, I love rice cakes, man. Yeah, I do.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I don't do the original ones anymore. I just get like the apple cinnamon.
Yeah, there's better ones.
Okay. There's better ones for sure. And then water intake is so important. Like 4, I drink 4 liters of water per day. Even when I'm not in camp, I try to still drink that.
What about coffee, tea, that kind of stuff? No.
Yeah, coffee. Yes. I like to put cream and sugar in my coffee.
So you're a kid. You're a kid. I tell Mike on our team does that. I go, you're a kid. You put in cream and sugar into your coffee. You make a kid's drink.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's a treat. A treat in the morning. Yeah.
That's a treat.
Yeah,
that's a treat.
You woke up, here's your treat.
Yeah, for sure. Coffee with cream and sugar. I go, that's like a dessert right there. Okay.
Coffee's okay. Normally, I don't know. Like I'm not a nutritionist. I've told people have told me have 1 black coffee per day.
Yeah,
some people have said have multiple black coffees per day. I just have whatever coffee I want, and I just work off the extra calories.
Sleep? Are you trying to get a certain amount of sleep?
Yeah.
Is there an hour or
minimum? I try to do 8 hours. Usually when I'm working, I try to do 7.5. But sleep is number 1, man.
Why are you nodding like that? Why do you know that? Do you measure your sleep?
I usually have an Apple Watch here. I'll try to, obviously measure it through there. And it does actually pretty accurate job of like, for the most part. But yeah, like the only reason why I'm saying that is just because I have a 9-month-old daughter. So obviously we're up in the middle of the night and I can tell when she's like up a lot or when she's not. And again, it makes a big difference on both of us, me and my wife. Right. So yeah, if you're not like, especially as an athlete, and if you're training twice a day and you're, still doing something like what I'm doing and working, dude, you need your sleep. And if not, like you need more than just 8 hours. You need to take a couple naps every year.
Are you working? But it's so hard. Right before the fight, are you working now?
Right now, no.
Take time off.
Yeah, so I had last week off and I'm off this week as well. It helps big time.
We don't need you repairing a furnace 8 hours before the fight. Okay?
I've done it, unfortunately. But
I'm sure. Yeah, you got to pay the bills, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so sleep, and then are you measuring any metrics on sleep like HRV or deep sleep or REM, or no? Just generally, I want 7.5 hours worth of sleep.
I try to watch how much REM sleep I get. I notice the more I have, the better sleep I get. Even if I sleep like 6.5, 7 hours, if my REM sleep is really big, then I'll
good.
Then
my weak spot is, for whatever reason, I get really high, incredible amounts of REM sleep, and I get very little deep sleep. Like I'll get like 3.5 hours of REM. But then I'll get 20 minutes or 30 minutes of deep sleep. Whereas Nick is the opposite. My brother, he'll get like 2 hours of deep sleep, 2.5 hours of deep sleep. I don't know how he does. It's crazy. Yeah. But he works out a lot, and I figured that's how he's able to keep working out. Like he's really getting a lot of good recovery, and his REM will be less than mine, so it's just different. And I found I know other people who get just a little bits of REM. They can't get a lot, and I seem to get, I don't know if it's too much or just a lot, like 3.5 hours, like apparently a lot for REM. Yeah. So
did you take anything before you?
No, I tried everything. I had I wore a Whoop band when Whoop wasn't even in Canada.
Yeah.
I got it shipped into the States. We smuggled it up to Canada. I was wearing that for like a year and a half, and then I tried everything. Like I stopped eating at 7 p.m. My biggest sleep hack is if I stop eating at 7 p.m. and then I digest everything and I go to bed with a pretty empty stomach, I will get the best sleep. No alcohol and my food stopped at 7 p.m. That's the best sleep for me. But I just don't follow it all the time. You know, like 9 p.m. My daughter has made some amazing muffins. As I'm going to eat these, they're gluten-free. If they're gluten-free, I tell myself they're healthy, loaded with sugar and chocolate chips, all these things. But that's my hack. Is if I know I need a good night's sleep, no food after 7 o'clock, and definitely no alcohol. Like one glass of wine wrecks my sleep. It's crazy.
What about I tried magnesium biglycinate. Have you tried that at all?
I tried it. I didn't pick up any difference on my data from the Whoop band, but maybe I didn't do it long enough. I don't know. You're having success with me.
For me, I get more. My REM sleep is like much larger. Okay. I usually have like 3. So I think like 600 milligrams of magnesium.
Oh, you do?
Before I go to bed.
Okay.
It helps repair tissue too. So it just really it helps me fall asleep better. And it really just helps me stay asleep a little better too. It has melatonin in it as well. I believe melatonin has magnesium in it.
Once I'm not really trained on melatonin too well. And one time on an overnight flight to Germany, I took too much melatonin and I had what are those dreams when you're awake in those dreams? What's the word I'm talking about?
Lucid.
I had a lucid dream on the plane. I'd never had a lucid dream before. So like I could see the stewardess serving drinks and stuff, but I was dreaming. So I didn't know quite what was going on and I couldn't operate my body. I could see stuff happening. It was the craziest experience and I've never gone back to it. I'm like, shit, man, that melatonin stuff, I obviously don't know what I'm doing. So I didn't go back to the melatonin. It totally tripped me out. Like I had a bad experience on the melatonin, but I know a lot of people have great success with melatonin.
They do. I know normally before the night before my fight, like I'll usually try to take some because it's kind of hard to sleep, if down all that weight and all you're thinking about is water and food. And
I think I just took the wrong dosage.
Maybe possibly.
Took too much of that. Who knew you could screw up melatonin? But okay, so then sleep, nutrition, the week of the fight, anything different going on in meditation or mindset or self-talk, or is that consistent?
That should always be consistent. Sometimes it takes like many weeks to work up for that. And I noticed that you had a neuroscience there as well. So I work with the osteopath. Her name's Shar. She does like a lot of my neurotraining. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff online.
I've seen a little. Can you describe it?
So basically she'll have my we'll do like a lot of cognitive exercises. They're usually a lot not very physically demanding, but they're very, very mentally demanding. So for example, we'll have there's a program that I use on my laptop. It's called a NeuroTracker. So you would stare at this one dot, and then you have 8 balls kind of just flying around. They get at the start of the exercise, it gets highlighted. 4 out of the 8 balls get highlighted. So it'll start, it'll move around for like 6 seconds, and then it'll pause. And then you got to guess which, ball was just highlighted before. But they're always like, they're crisscrossing, they're mixing. So that's one of the things that we do. It's called NeuroTracker.
And that's meant to, the NeuroTracker is meant to keep you mentally sharp?
Yes, because like, especially I like to have it on like my big screen TV. So if I'm looking at the dot, right? So I pretend that my dot's my opponent. There might be punches coming here, here, and you want to be very wary of where everything is coming from, right? So that's why it's vision. You want to be looking here, but you want to know what's coming from here. Like you might have a really wide, long left hook, right, coming, hitting you right in the temple, and you might not see it coming, right? So she does like stuff like that, with me.
I had that happen to me in a street fight once. It was a left hook. I got it at McMaster University.
Sounds about right.
One of my friends wanted to fight somebody. We were in my car and he was pushing the back of my seat. This is when we're young and stupid. And I get out of the car. I go, there's no putting this off. This is going to happen. And there's 3 guys approach me. But the guy, my buddy who wanted to fight these guys from the bar, they got into a bit of an altercation, never got out of the car. So it was just me facing these 3 guys and totally stupid on my part.
For sure,
I think I go to push the guy in the middle. This is like this is a low point. Like this is just stupid what I was doing. But the guy that was to his left, I get to my left, his right, came with a right, I guess it was a right, like kind of hook over and just clocked me. I didn't see it coming at all. So I could have used some of that training.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have got out of the way. Maybe I could do some Karate Kid stuff. I could have moved out of the way a little bit, but I really had no recollection of that punch coming at me. Yeah. It was split open my lip. I was in the McMaster Hospital. Then I met one of my buddies in the Mac Hospital in emergency. I'm like, why are you here? He goes, alcohol poisoning. He made his own beer and he drank too much of it. He got alcohol poisoning. He goes, why are you here? I go, oh, stitches to the lip. I took a punch. Anyway.
Sounds like a St. Patty's Day weekend or something.
Yeah, this is like, we're just for the record, I think we're like 20 years old stupid. This is just when you're
sounds about right. Yeah.
Stupid. I'm not trying to, this is nothing to talk or brag about anyway. This is just low point. But you made me remember that punch. So that the neuroscience activities are helping you with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just the stuff you don't see, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to prepare your brain for that as much as you can. Mm-hmm. I think some fighters are picking it up. Some athletes from other sports are.
So any nootropic stuff? Like I was playing around with something called Dave Asprey had this thing. They don't sell it anymore, so God knows what was in it. It was called Unfair Advantage, and it was like a mitochondrial stimulant. So I remember taking a bunch of it, and I could see words processing in my brain before I spoke them. It was insane.
Man, that's crazy.
I took like a triple dose of it. I probably shouldn't have. It was completely crazy. But then the effects wore off. I guess I got used to it. But I've noticed in general, my brain does really well with fats. So if I have like MCT oil or coconut oil and stuff, or like just high fat diet, my brain really functions super quickly. And he talked, no, that doesn't come up at all.
No, I never thought about.
Yeah, like if I have like coconut oil, like well, don't listen to me. I don't want to freaking throw you off. You're like a pro athlete. But MCT oil, which is a concentrated coconut oil, if you have a tablespoon of that, some people get a little stomach disruption. They run to the washroom. Never happens to me. Yeah. And my mental cognition is super on point. So if I take it like an espresso and some of that, my mental processing is noticeably different. Just a tablespoon of like highly processed coconut oil. It's like MCT oil. You've never heard of MCT?
I have, but it kind of brings me back to. I have a sponsor, Omega Alpha, that kind of ships me out all these products, and a lot of we have like omega oils and fish oils, and I feel like if there might be days where I do and don't take it, and I feel like the days I do take it, I definitely get a cognitive boost. Just thinking, you're thinking better, thinking more clear.
Like I took Joe Rogan's Alpha Brain for a little while, but that one made me feel honestly like my brain was a little bit crooked or something. Like I wasn't efficient. Like I could feel an effect it was having on my brain, but it wasn't helping me. It made me feel a little bit off, like off kilter. I didn't like that one. So I feel each of our brains and our chemical compositions are different, and we need to do what's right for you. You know?
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah,
that's interesting that you're working with that the neuroscience stuff, huh? I didn't expect that. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So anything else? So sleep 7.5 hours, mindset the week of, diet we know about, and then I guess after the fight, do you have like a day? Like what does the day after a fight look like to you? Is it an exhaustive adrenaline dump? Like, are you just like can barely move, or if you have a great record, you've won, so are you just like thrilled?
Yeah, I just wake up. Usually I wake up pretty early. It's hard to sleep sometimes, right? When you're that great.
Yeah. Totally.
But yeah, sometimes I never sleep after the fight.
Okay.
I'll have a few hours. I'll wake up and then I'll just kind of continue on to my day. I always go out and have breakfast though. I always go out. Yeah, if it's like a local restaurant or something. Okay. Yeah. But I try to now.
So you're not you're not like beat down. You're not exhausted from the whole experience.
No, not really. Like normally what I do after the fight is I try to drink as much water as I can. I always bring my electrolytes with me as well, because I've had a fight a couple years ago where I didn't drink any water. I had a couple of drinks, normally, which is like not very. It's not a good idea, especially after you fight. But I felt like the next day after that, I had to take a flight. I was in Nova Scotia. I took the flight back here to Ontario, and I just started like my muscles were so contracted.
Dehydrated.
So very dehydrated. So, you have such a big adrenaline dump for that fight for the whole night for such a amount of time, right? So you should always be, still taking your fluids, still be mindful of what you're eating at the same time, kind of ease your way back into stuff, because your body just went through like a detrimental change in the last, 24, 36 hours, losing all that weight, right? And then now you're getting it all back. Just takes a few days to kind of, get yourself back, back in it, So that's why stay away from the alcohol, stay away from even coffee too, if you have to,
Not the right time. Do you consider yourself an introvert and extrovert?
I'd say an extrovert.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're feeding off the energy of this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Because those kinds of things, Nick and I will have events for our business, and we'll have a lot of people out, and people will see us speak at them, and they're like, "Oh, you're clearly an extrovert." Yeah. But I'm not. They actually exhaust me. So after we have a big event like that, I'm just completely drained. Adrenaline dump. And I can't function for the next. No, I can function. I shouldn't say I can't function, but I'm exhausted. Sometimes 36 hours afterwards, I'm still exhausted. Yeah. But if you're an extrovert, I feel like maybe that's feeding you energy, so it's maybe not as bad afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can when I can get going and start talking, and when I'm moving, when I'm grooving, I'm really out there. But I think everyone likes their downtime, right? But definitely more of an extrovert.
Okay. And then is there anything that or have you ever been in what people will call the flow state? Have you ever entered a state in one of your fights where you're just holy shit, things are just happening without me even you're just in the moment, so much so that you're in that state of flow?
Yeah, very, very little, but it has happened. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. And there's no definition on how to get to it.
Yeah, it's kind of you're in the zone, things are moving a little bit more slowly than your brain is, and it's really it's really weird, and you're just whatever's happening out here, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't it doesn't compute.
For someone who's 16 or 17, 18, thinking about getting into this, what would you tell them now, looking back? You have a lot of experience now.
Yeah.
I mean, Canadian national team, belt holder. What would you tell that person if they're serious about doing this? Any advice?
Yeah. Just do it, sign up to your
so don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it. Just do it. It's it's simple.
Any mistakes that you made that you would have corrected now looking back?
Yeah, I would say just take any opportunity that you can. There's been a few times where we had some trips planned. I think I had a chance for me to go to Vegas. I think another chance for me to go to Portugal and to England
for
and stuff.
Fights.
Yeah, for fights.
Oh.
And I did decline them. I regret that just because I declined it because of work.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? So I feel money is always going to be there. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just 1 or 2 days, right? Mm-hmm. So you just don't, just take the chance, especially the younger you are, the the more free time you have, right? Mm-hmm.
Jake Money doesn't turn that down now.
Yeah, no. And anytime I have a chance, I'm see you later.
Yeah.
I got to take this opportunity before it's too late, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're all pulling for you, man. It's been fun to just on the sidelines watch what you're doing. I remember going to see that fight when you were there, and I didn't know how these fights, the energy in the room of this. First of all, I thought I should be sitting with my back against the wall because I'm the crowd in here is on fire. I don't know if chairs are going to start flying. I don't know.
They have.
Yeah, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize everyone's sitting with their crew from their gym.
Yeah.
So all these crews around there, but it made it super fun. I had never seen as many gold. I wear a gold chain. I'd never seen as many gold chains. I didn't know there was that many gold chains in existence, but boxing fight nights have a lot of gold chains happening. And I'm pumped for you, man. This has been cool to see you on this, from our perspective, see some of the pictures are rolling in, seeing you live has been incredible. We're all cheering for you, man. I don't really know how to support you more than just cheering.
Well, you on, you guys do enough, So
no, we don't do anything, and we don't do anything. It's just been fun to watch you. And what you should know is that for those of us who aren't competing professionally, to see you out there and just be on next to you just a little bit, you're inspiring, man.
Thank you.
It's inspiring, and you may not know that about yourself because you're just doing.
I'm just doing me. I never you,
but it is really cool, And when you're at the gym, sometimes people will whisper oh man, is that John Michael's fighting? Is a fight coming up? And it's cool. That's kind of a cool thing.
Cool,
they don't want you to hear them saying that. And then I'm he's he's training for his next fight and stuff. So there's this talk around you, and it's it's cool. People like that, you know, like
That's cool,
you're giving people something, man. And you just have to take care of yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
no doubt.
take care of yourself. You go and fucking beat ass out there and fucking don't take any shit, man.
Guy's going down.
Yeah.
Down on the hammer.
We need that, man. John Michael, thanks for doing on Instagram. Your new Instagram is at Real JM Boxing. Real JM Boxing. So if you want to follow John Michael's journey and cheer him on and help him out, he's at Real JM Boxing.
Yes.
That's where you can find J Money.
Yeah. My old account, I don't know if it exists or not, but it got hacked. So just follow this new one.
Follow the new one. And cool, man. All the best with this fight, John Michael.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.